Guys, I think I'm going to keep that introduction for the rest of my podcast episodes because I really like it and I think it's really true to what I am, and that's nobody knows where I might end up. Honestly, I am somewhere different every single week of my life. I'm telling you, I'm never in one spot. I have a house, but I just like going to other places. I'm always either at like a friend's house or a family member's house or wherever. As like last week, that episode was filmed at my aunt's house. This week, as you can see, oh, seagull. This week, as you can see, we are in my car. Guys, welcome to my car. We are at a location. This is my favorite spot to be in my hometown because there's a. Do you guys hear those seagulls? I'm so sorry. This isn't even like a beach. It's just like there's water there and there's sand. That's actually Lake Ontario. So it's a big lake. And I love coming here just to relax. So, sometimes I come and read a book. Sometimes I'll bring my friends here. Sometimes I'll bring my family here and we'll like walk on the path. There's a path here. Anyways, I love this spot. And this is where I decided to bring you guys for the podcast this week. Welcome to Let's Talk About It. My name's Alyssa. A lot of you, if not all of you, already know that already, but I'm going to say it again. Welcome to the podcast. This episode, we are going to be talking about being independent. And I think I want to talk about this because I have been notably known for being independent in my life. I actually really like doing things by myself. I know a lot of people aren't like that. Um but I am, and I think I've actually learned to like being independent. From a young age, I always was doing things by myself. Wasn't a bad thing. It was just like what I was accustomed to. And so over the years, I just kind of learned to do things by myself. Um, and now I actually enjoy it, and sometimes I actually prefer it. And so I'm going to talk about that this week on this podcast. It's just me this week, guys. I think in the upcoming weeks, I do want to have some friends on the podcast because I do like having that interaction with people to bounce, like, have a conversation with. Like, it's not just me because as much as I can talk for a long time, I don't know if I can talk for by myself all the time by myself. Like, I just want other people to talk with too. So I think that's going to be what's going to be happening in the next upcoming weeks. So let me guys know what you want me to talk about with my friends. Whether I feel like a lot of it's going to be like Grey's Anatomy related or Station 19 related or anything around that Shondaland related area. So I think that's what that's going to be. But I also have some friends that want to be on it to talk about like astrology. I know my best friends are like so into that, which is I really am not, but I guess after being friends with them for so many years, I'm like, okay, like I'll believe it to like a point. Guys, don't listen to that. Listen, I've had this car for some time, okay? This car has been through it. Been through it with me. This car got me through all of university. Also, I think maybe all of high school too, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, this car has been through it with me, so it might make some noises here and there. Don't worry about it. It runs fine. It gets me from place A to B, and that's all that matters right now. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this scenery in the back. It might start raining. It's been a really crappy day today. I was like coming here to be like, oh, hopefully it's going to be sunny and I'm going to have all this natural lighting. No, it's gloomy and the sun is literally nowhere to be found and it's raining. So, anyways, we're just going to have to deal. You guys can still see me. Like, there's not much to see. So, anyways, we're going to get started with the topic of being independent, how I really became independent, and how I kind of learned to like enjoy that. Because a lot of you actually were saying from last week's episode, which thank you guys so much for all the nice responses. I was so overwhelmed with so many kinds thoughts and responses from you. You guys DM'd me and I was like overwhelmed with joy. I was like, this is so nice. People were talking to me about their own experiences at the convention, and then you just get to talking about other things. But a lot of people actually brought up the fact that I went to Paris and to the convention by myself. And some people were kind of like, how did you do that? And I'm like, honestly, it wasn't even a thought in my mind that I was going to go do this by myself. Um, because that's just always something like I've wanted to do, is travel by myself. And going to convention, I guess going to a convention by yourself is really a scary thought if you really think about it, because you're going to see like this is a huge group of people and you know no one. So it can be kind of nerve-wracking for sure. But I think because it was so short notice for me, I really didn't even have the time to like have anxiety about it, because usually I do have social anxiety, like I said last week. But anyways, that was a huge topic of conversation when you guys were messaging me about last week's episode. So that's why this week I kind of want to talk about myself and being independent, like how I came to be comfortable in being independent. And to start off, I think really for me that started when I was a young little girl, young child, because little backstory about me is I was actually adopted as a young baby by my mom, my wonderful mom. She adopted me and my sister by herself. She was a single parent, a single mother, and raised both of us. So, growing up, actually, because she worked a full time job, we both of me and my sister, we're 6 years apart, so we were in different parts of our lives, but we went to a lot of babysitters, like before and after school care. Oh, guys, sorry, there's gonna be like some people in the background. It's a public space. Anyways, so basically, I can't. Growing up, we used to have a lot of babysitters, and that meant for me that if I needed anything, really, if I needed food, water, I had to ask someone that wasn't my mom. So I had to get comfortable asking for things that I needed or wanted, because, you know, my mom always taught me from a very, very young age, if you don't ask for it, the answer is always going to be no. So that's always been something in the back of my head anytime I really need to ask someone, like a stranger, for something, even like the simplest things like going in a restaurant, asking for an extra packet of ketchup. You know what I'm saying? Like simple things to like things that actually matter, like at work, etc. If you don't ask for something that you want, the answer will always be no. So that's always been ingrained into my mind. Um, and that's really like the first thing that for me made me become independent. Again, not being around my mom for a lot of the time, growing up, just simply because she was at work. I did have to get comfortable being around other people, being taken care of by like family friends, by babysitters, by my friends' parents. I was with my friends' parents a lot growing up. I had a lot of great, amazing friends, and their parents would basically take care of me all the time. So yeah, so that's for me how it started off. As I got older, um, I didn't like I wasn't the way I am now. Like now I actually prefer sometimes to be by myself. I'm like, oh, I really need to like some alone time just to like recharge my batteries. As a child, sometimes I would not want that. I'd be like, I want to be around other people. I don't like being alone. I always wanted my mom. I'm such a mommy's girl. But basically, yeah, like when you don't have those things, it kind of makes you come out of your bubble and talk to people, make a lot of friends. So that was another thing I was kind of forced to do as a young kid, especially. Um, I grew up a lot by myself, and like I was with friends of friends. I was just with a lot of people. So it's kind of like I had to learn how to meet new people. I'd always go, I remember a distinct memory for me would be in playgrounds. I would always like want to play with the other kids at the playground. So I'd always be the one kid going up and be like, "Can I play with you?" And just like stuff like that. I always that's like some of my earliest memories. So I think for me that's really where becoming independent started for me. And honestly, thank my mom for that, because now I'm at the point where I'm comfortable being by myself, and actually that's something I kind of strive for. Like in the future, I want to become a travel nurse. And being a travel nurse, you're really by yourself. You're going from place to place by yourself, living by yourself, working by yourself, and going to new hospitals that you don't know anyone. And you're there now for 12 weeks and you're meeting new people, meeting new coworkers. But ultimately, you are by yourself in that journey. So But that's something I want now. So I guess it's kind of since a young age, I've kind of had to do it, and now I'm just kind of accustomed to it. And now I really just embrace it. So like I said, growing up, I also, that's not to say I didn't have friends, because I had friends. Like, for example, I started competitive soccer at a really young age. I started like just playing soccer normally at like the age of 6, but I think I started playing competitively around age 10 or 11. And I actually started competitively playing as a goalkeeper in soccer, which, for those of you who don't know, soccer, like, there's the goalkeeper, and they're the only ones that they can use your hands. Anyways, it's really a whole different set of skills. So actually, even though I was on a team sport and was playing with teammates and had all these friends, I still had to do extra training on the side as a goalkeeper by myself. So my mom, like, everyone would be at practice or whatever, and that'd be your weekly practice. And then my mom would still have to bring me to extra practices with other kids, again, I didn't know, and you'd practice like the goalkeeper skills. So again, this was another time that I had no choice. I had to go up to these people, make friends with them, do the same drills as them, and eventually over time, those people that I practiced with became my friends as well. So it was just honestly becoming independent. I think it's really, if you guys have heard of exposure therapy, that's really what it is, because it takes time, it takes practice to develop the skill of going up to people, introducing yourself, and trying to make a connection. It really is a skill, and I think I was just fortunate enough to start that skill early. So yeah, that's really how it started for me. Now it's kind of like, again, as I got older, I started post secondary school by myself. A lot of my friends in high school were either like, um, I took a year off actually after high school. I took a year off. That was a choice I decided to make, and then just for a break after high school. And then I went to nursing school in university. So, doing that, I was actually one of the only people in my graduating class in high school that was taking a year off. There was maybe a handful of us. But then also to make the decision to go back to school after that, I think that was also a choice that I made, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be alone in this choice. Like, all of my other friends were doing something completely different from what I was doing. So, again, like, I knew and for everyone, there's a point in your life where you have to realize you're not going to have a group of your friends going through life with you. Like, unfortunately, it's go through elementary school and high school, you have all these friends that you meet because you're forced to be with each other every day. And then suddenly life starts, and now everyone's going their own paths. So it's becoming comfortable with that and becoming comfortable with making your own decisions. And that's really also what I did. That's what I did after high school. And then university comes around, you're going into that again by yourself. All these things, like, people become independent just by going through life like that. And that's really what was for me. I was so fortunate enough, though, when I started university in Toronto, I made so many great friends. For my best friends, actually, my two best friends ever, I met like the first day of university. Even before that, like, we were just texting each other, but we met through school, nursing school, and now they're my best friends for life. So I literally couldn't be more grateful for them. But again, if I didn't make that choice to be independent and to do things by myself beforehand to go to university, like, that never would have happened. So I am grateful for the decisions I've made, simply because I was like, okay, I'm going to do this by myself, and whatever happens, happens from it. Um, so that's just like the benefits of being independent. And sorry, someone just like drove by and then like gave me a look. Anyways, we're gonna continue on. So again, like I said, I have been, as a young child, I was really independent, and then growing up, I was also just happy to be by myself. And I think a lot of that also continued on as I continued to make the decision to go to the convention. I was like, I want to travel. I know traveling is something that I like doing, and I've always wanted to do it by myself. The first time I was ever really by myself is when I went to the Billie Eilish concert in Los Angeles, and that was so fun. I decided to go by myself. And I met so many great people. Oh, there's gonna be people pulling up right beside me. um, when I went to the Billie Eilish concert by myself, it was so fun because let me tell you, I went by myself and I could do whatever I want. I wanted to like beforehand. I went to a bar by myself and me and the bartender were actually really close. It was this woman. I'm like, "Listen, I'm here by myself. I intend to go to this concert, blah blah blah." I was like, "If someone comes up to me and I look uncomfortable, do you mind just like whatever, kind of like redirecting?" I've done that to a lot of bartenders actually. And a lot of them are really cool with it because some guys, I'm telling you, some people, and usually it's men, do not know how to take a freaking sign. Like, you know, when you're just like at like a bar, for example, guys will come up to you and try to be like, okay, it's one thing to asking someone to buy you a drink, but even if you're not, and so, like, if you're talking to me and I'm kind of giving the cue, like giving short, direct answers where it's not leading to an open conversation, sir, I don't want to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, please leave me alone. And so some guys honestly do not get that message. So that's why I have actually in the past um been like to bartenders, please, like, just kind of what, like, not like look at me the whole time, but just keep an eye. And a lot of bartenders that I've met actually were really cool and helped to redirect guys a couple times, especially if I was like visibly uncomfortable. But anyways, for the Billie Eilish concert, I was by myself, and beforehand, I went to a bar and had the greatest time because, again, like I said, the bartender was great. No one bothered me, but I was drinking by myself. So by the time I went to the actual concert, guys, I was like not wasted, but I was like drunk. So the whole concert, the people around me were not, they were kids, but I think they were more like 17. So I had said to them, my phone actually died during the concert, which is not very safe, guys. Like, make sure if you're going to things by yourself, you either have like a portable charger or like just a cord. I didn't have anything. It was actually so stupid of me, but my phone died because I was recording all the songs, and the girls beside me were actually the best and let me use their phone just to like call Uber and stuff. But again, that was such a great experience, and I did that by myself, and it really was fun. I met the girls beside me and behind me. It was just like, again, like you're having these new experiences, and now you're meeting new people, and they're here for the same reason you are, and then you all just experience it together. And sometimes I feel that when you're with other people, like for example, when you're with friends, you're not really paying attention to your surroundings as much. So it's like if I was with friends, I probably would have never met those people that I did at the concert. And it goes the same for when I went to the Beyonce concert just like when did I go to Beyonce? Like last month or something? A couple months ago. I went to Beyonce and it was the same thing. Beforehand, I went to a bar. It was the best time ever. And then afterwards, again, you go to like an after party. But however, during the actual concert, I was by myself and I didn't need like a friend to be beside me to listen to Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're looking at Beyonce. Why do I need necessarily someone to be standing beside me? And I didn't, because again, the people beside me, and actually my whole section at the Beyonce concert was so fun. Everyone was like partying because again, Beyonce came on like 2 hours late, so everyone was really getting to know each other by talking to each other. But everyone, it was just like one big party. Then afterwards, people were like, okay, so where's the after party at Beyonce? And it was just a whole thing. Um, it was so exciting, and that's kind of just why I like being independent. You're free to make all these decisions by yourself, and there's no one else being like, "Oh, but I want to do this and I want to go here." And that makes a huge difference for me, at least, because I am someone that when I am with a group of people, I'm like, "Okay, if you guys want to do this, you guys go like you can choose." You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm such a people pleaser that way. When I'm with other people, I'm making sure that what they want comes before what I want. And it's just literally just how I've grown up. And I know a lot of people grow up that way, just making sure that the other people get what they want, just whatever. But when you're by yourself, you don't have to worry about that. You literally worry about what you want to do and when you want to do it. So I love that about being by yourself. Like, that's just something I really love, especially when it comes to traveling, because I've traveled with many a people, before, family and friends. And again, I'm just always concerned about what the other person is feeling, if they're having a good time. But when you're by yourself, you just have to worry about yourself. If you're having a good time, what you want to do. For example, when I was in France, um, of course, I was with so many of my friends and stuff. But the last Monday morning, I had actually just told my friends, I'm like, guys, I'm just gonna go do my own thing because that's what I wanted to do. And I did it. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna go because I don't like I think my friends had been there like in France before, or I'm not sure, but I'm just like I knew I wanted some time by myself in France to do things that I wanted to see. Like before I knew I was gonna meet these people, I did have things in mind that I wanted to go see in France. I've never been there before. So on that last day I actually went by myself by Uber or whatever they call it to like a cafe that I really wanted to see and go to, and I did do that. Then I actually like rented one of those like e-bikes, like the electronic bikes by myself, and I literally rode a bike all around Paris for like the whole morning, and it was so fun. But again, if I was with like other people and some like difference of opinions, people want to do different things, which is so fair. But I was just really happy that I was able to go and do that by myself. So that's just like one of the huge benefits I get from being by myself. And that's kind of just what I focus on and what I prioritize. And, and then I don't regret anything either, too, right? So by doing things that I know I want to do, I know by the end of the trip that I would have had a great time. And again, you have no regrets because everything you wanted to do was on your schedule, on your time. And yeah, sorry, there's people walking. um, but again, just because, like I said, just because I really enjoy being independent, it's something that I've again learned and now I'm accustomed to. It doesn't mean that I don't like still having that connection. Like again, I just as much as I like being by myself, I do like being with my friends and my family. I grew up in a Guyanese family, so family is something that I hugely value. I'm really close with my family, whether it's my aunts and my uncles or my cousins. Um, I'm around my family all the freaking time, guys. I also have a nephew. Like I'm around my family all the time, and also my friends. I really make an effort. All of my friends, we make an effort to be around each other and to hang out. Whether that's my best friends or I have a lot of work friends as well, or just family friends. I have a lot of family friends. Like growing up, it's like these people weren't blood related to me. However, they're basically, I would call them my cousins at this point. I feel like a lot of people have that, but I was so blessed that growing up, my mom had some friends that would literally do anything for us, and I would do anything for them. So, as much as again, I like being by myself, I do really like being with my friends and my family. And even when it comes to like relationships, guys, I have like actively, okay, I'm not gonna like get too much into it, but when it comes to relationships, okay, like I've always said to myself that I am not gonna delve into a huge committed relationship until I feel that I'm, not at my best, because like no one's ever gonna be at their optimal prime best, but when I'm in a place where I'm comfortable with myself is when I'm gonna uh then I'll be comfortable being in a relationship, because then I'm like then I don't feel like I'm dragging the other person down, etc., etc. Okay, regardless of that, um I'm trying to make a point without basically I'm just trying to say, even though I have over the years basically decided that I don't want to be in like a committed relationship. It's just not what I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? It's just, for example, right now, like I'm in the process of finding a job that I'm going to be committed to for at least the next 2 years. Don't know where that's going to be, wherever that is going to be. It's going to take up a lot of my time. Listen, I'm just not trying to commit to someone, especially when I know I can't commit to them in the way I would want to. So, right now, oh my God, there's like people yelling. Anyways, right now, I'm just trying to like just living my best life. And my best life right now means that I'm not going to be in a relationship with anyone else just because I don't want to be. But that doesn't mean, again, that I do not, um, doesn't mean that I'm not going to, um, just like have friends. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, guys, where were we going with that point? This is what happens to me. I like think about things. I think about it too much in my head, and then my point goes completely somewhere where I'm not trying to. What point was I trying to make? I don't even know. Guys, my point was I think the point I was trying to make was like, listen, I'm not trying to have a relationship right now. Doesn't mean you still don't like human connection, you know what I'm saying? Down the line, it might be something that I'm comfortable doing. Right now, I'm not. I honestly don't know why I had to include that in there, but I had notes here and I just like read it and then I said it. I regret it. Anyways, um, the moral of the story is I am confident now in a lot of aspects of myself, and one of those aspects is being independent. Um, I think a lot of my friends and family right now, if they were to describe me, it would be that I am an independent person. And that's honestly something that I just value for myself because again, when I am around my friends and my family, I'm always making sure everyone else is okay. That's really what I just do. But it can be exhausting. Like, there are points in my life where I just feel so exhausted because I'm overwhelmed by everyone else's crap. So I do like taking the time to put myself first, because if I don't actively put myself first, I sometimes will never do that. And I feel like that's like a lot for other people, so I think I've just practiced kind of like doing things by myself for myself, and it's really benefited me and worked out for me so far. Hopefully in the future when I decide to, you know, buy a house by myself, buy wherever I want to live, and do whatever I want by myself, I'll still feel that comfortness. And one day I might decide, okay, let me just be codependent and do this with someone else. I don't know if that time will come, but we'll see. Anyways, for you guys who want to be more independent, I actually asked my friends before starting this episode, what is like stopping you from being independent? Because for someone, I just kind of make myself do things, but for people who can't really make themselves do that, I'm like, I have a lot of friends who are like that, and I'm like, so what's stopping you? Like, what are your concerns? And the main ones that they actually said was, um, they have trouble actually talking to people that they don't know because they're afraid they're gonna, like, I don't know, some my friend said make a fool out of herself, which I guess is a very valid thing. Um when you don't know what you're gonna say, my sister's actually like this too. It's like when you don't know what you're gonna say, it's hard to actually have a conversation. Like, people sometimes need to plan out. For example, I know a friend that before we like order pizza or something, she'll have to like write out what we're gonna say before we order the pizza. And for me, I never had to do this, but for some people, that's a very valid thing. So if that helps you, honestly, if it's gonna help you like to talk to other people, that's just what you got to do. I feel like a lot of it is exposure therapy, and like I said, I was exposed to doing things like that from a very young age, but some people weren't. So when it comes to having to talk to strangers, especially, or wanting to meet new friends, exposure therapy is a lot of it. Just making yourself do it. And, sometimes sometimes you might make a fool out of yourself. But I think over time you'll just like practice and it won't be as bad. Um, I know for me a lot, my mom, when I was younger, she made me ask like people at restaurants a lot. She'd be like, "Hey, you go up and ask for the extra whatever you want, or if this wasn't cooked right, you go up and tell them to that this wasn't prepared properly." And that is a huge thing for me. I used to get really nervous at doing that, but now I don't. Um and also, I think for I don't know why, but going to a gas station also would be great exposure therapy because listen, people at the gas station see all walks of life. So you practicing to speak to someone at the gas station for anything, um, that like it can't get it won't go as bad as you think it will. So maybe just practice, you know. Anyways, I feel like that was a stupid point. I'm sorry. I'm like I the only downfall about doing like podcasts in public is that I'm looking at so many other freaking things. I'm like losing my track of thought. So if this is kind of going everywhere, I'm apologetic and I promise I will get better at this. Oh, the people beside me are leaving. Bye. It's a great time to daydream. Guys, we're 31 minutes into this podcast. I don't know how long this is going to go. I feel like it won't be as long as last week's, simply because it's just a shorter subject to talk about. But maybe next week, whenever my friends do come on the podcast, I'm telling you guys, it's going to be a long podcast because we can talk for hours, for hours about like different things. But anyways, now we have our scenery back. You can kind of see the waves a bit. It is a really crappy day out, which kind of sucks, but whatever. It's okay. Do 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 do. What else do I want to talk about in terms of being independent? Oh yes, I was saying about what my friends were nervous about when it comes to doing things by yourself. And this is a big one, which is such a valid. Is my friend said she's afraid of getting mugged. This was in more specific to traveling, just traveling by yourself as a female. And this is also my mom's biggest fear, guys. Because let me tell you, when I went to Paris, oh my God, I couldn't hear the end of it of how I had to make sure all of these things. Because, like, I mean, it's a very real concern. I shouldn't be dramatic like this because it's a real concern. Women in general, like, you are out here. We're always in danger. Like, it's just the way the world works. Unfortunately, these days, you always have to be hyper aware of your surroundings. You know, my mom always taught me never go to the bathroom by yourself, always take a friend. Which are because it's just the world we live in, unfortunately. But it's a very real concern. However, I don't think the concern should be so big that it should stop me from doing the things I want. So I think the biggest thing in terms of this fear is just to be as prepared as possible. So for me, actually, here's some tips that I do for just anything. Being by yourself, whether it's at home, whether it's in your hometown or in another country, the fear and the risk is honestly the same. Because depending on where you live, I know where I live, it's not the safest. So this is some things I do. First and foremost, my my two best friends, have my location on at all times. That's wherever I go, they always have my location, and I know that if anything were to happen, them to always have my location on, and that's that. I also have a work friends that she's just become really close friends with me. Anytime I do go out with like a friend, she always has my location on for a certain period of time, and she like actually checks where I am to make sure that I'm staying in the same place. Um, so yeah, making sure people have your location is really important because then if, for example, you're not answering or something and they know, also just making sure they know where you are, because if they want to call you or you don't answer, they have the last place that your phone was at least. But again, this doesn't really help if you were to drop your phone or misplace your phone or if your phone dies. Like, that is why second tip, and I didn't do this while I was in Los Angeles, but I did for when I was in Paris. I got a portable charger. That is actually really, really important to have. Do I have one in my purse right now? Let me see. No, I don't. Do I? Of course I don't. Anyways, having a portable charger is also very important because, again, if you are ever in an emergency, 911 or whatever your emergency caller is, that is what you need to be have access to. having your phone on and charged is actually just really important. So make sure you have a portable charger with you. Make sure your friends or whoever knows where your location is. Um, and I also tell my friends too, usually like what time I should be leaving at. So for example, when I went to both concert, I told them what time, what times the concert started and what time the concert ends, because like it's just helpful information. Also, uh, have if it's possible on you some way to protect yourself, whether or not that is like pepper spray. I don't have a taser, but some people go as far as having a taser. Some people have like those knuckle, they're like spikes, whatever. Some people have that. Whatever makes you feel the most comfortable and whatever you're most comfortable using, just have it. Because oh my god, there's a literal seagull interrupting the pod. How rude. Anyways, having something to protect yourself is just really important. Because there's no such thing as being too safe. You know what I'm saying? What else? It was actually hard for me though in Paris, to have something like that because you can't take that stuff across the border. And I didn't buy anything in Paris, so, but I wasn't by myself a lot in Paris. Thankfully, I had some friends. So, but yeah, just things like that. I think preparing for the worst really is what you need to be doing when it comes to the fear of being a woman in the world. You just got to prepare, and that's all. Sorry guys, I'm looking at my phone. My mom just texted me asking if I can buy her a milkshake. Sure. And then oh, and then the last, it wasn't really a fear that my friends were saying, but the last thing about going out by yourself is that some people genuinely want to talk with other people. And this was actually something my mom had said to me because my mom was like, I need to be talking to other people. Like I'm not someone who wants to go somewhere and experience things by myself. And I'm like, that's such a valid point. Like I, for example, am someone, look at it, it's getting so dark here. I'm so sorry. Anyways, should I change this lighting? Okay. Not the person behind me. Anyways, nope, don't like that. We're just gonna do that. That's fine. Anyways, what was I saying, guys? I get onto something and then I forget what I'm talking about. Hold on, let it come back to me. What was I talking about? Oh my god. Oh, not wanting to talk. Like, okay, yeah, I know what I was talking about. So basically, my mom, my sister's kind of like this too. Is they rather actually experience things with other people. My aunts are like a lot of my family's like this. They want to experience things with other people, which is so valid. So valid. Some people just like don't want to be by themselves, but for me personally, I'm actually always in my head. Is that what you guys are like too? Like I could be wherever I am and I have constant dialogue going in my head. So because that's always happening to me, if I'm with a group of other people, a lot of that dialogue in my head is, "Oh my gosh, how is this person feeling? Are they having a good time? Like are they nervous for some reason? Are they not comfortable? Why aren't they comfortable? What can I do to make them more comfortable?" Like that's what's going through my head when I'm with a group of people, especially like my friends and family. Again, I'm always trying to put them first. Um so, but for my mom, she said she likes experiencing things with other people. Like if she wants to go to the movies, for example, she wants to watch that with someone else, and then they can talk about it afterwards. I'm like, okay, fair enough. I'm just not someone who really needs that. Sure, it's great, but I don't need that. And for some people, they need to do things with other people. So I guess it's just again learning. Um, it's learning to like or liking to be with yourself. And I guess for me, I've kind of just learned how to like to be by myself. And yeah, that's really just it. Someone else just pulled up right beside me, so that's great and fun. But yeah, so guys, this week on the pod, we talked about a lot in terms of being independent. And um, again, if I'm to go to another convention, or if I'm to honestly go to any convention, it's gonna be by myself. Like I'm not bringing anyone else with me. I really am not. So don't be expecting that. I will be by myself. And if you're ever thinking of coming to a convention where there's going to be like Grey's actresses, First Responders is having another convention soon. I think there's another convention next year as well in Chicago. However, so if you guys are going to that, I might be. I hope I am, like depending on who's there. If I go, I'm going by myself. So reach out to me. And if you're nervous, like please come up to me. I'm more than happy to say hi. I love meeting new people. Again, we can talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. I'm open to anything and everything. And yeah, that was really it, what we had to talk about on this podcast. I think in the near future episodes, I definitely am going to talk about the friends that I've made. I've made so many friends just this year, just the past 6 months alone. 6, 7, we're in the 8th month. In the past 8 months alone of this year, I've actually met a lot of people, really cool people that I can definitely call my friends. What do people call them? I think they call them fangirl friends. Is that what it is? Let me see. Fangirl friends, that's what the term is, and I love that. It just fits so nicely. So I would definitely like to have a podcast talking about all the fangirl friends that I've made. I'm gonna have for sure podcasts with some of my friends actually on it, and we're gonna talk about, oh goodness, we're gonna talk about some things related to Grey's Anatomy, related to Station 19, and I also am gonna have some of my I don't want to say real life because like this is real life. I would like to have some of my um hometown friends, I guess I can call them, be on this podcast because a lot of them want to be. They want to talk about astrology. Guys, when it comes to astrology, like I'm just so iffy with it. I do believe in astrology, but I don't know, to a point. You know what I'm saying? So they want to talk about that. I want to also talk about some of my favorite Grey's Anatomy episodes because that's super exciting. Because Grey's is just awesome. But yeah, so look forward in the next weeks for some fun topics that I'm going to be talking about. Also, I think I'm going to go in an episode talking about my adoption because I'm actually really open about that. So we can do that. Why not? I'll let you guys let me know what you want to hear and we'll talk about it because again, this is the Let's Talk About It podcast. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for being here. It's a shorter episode this week, but at the same time, I don't want to just like carry on talking when I don't have anything left to talk about. And that's that. That's that on that. Again, thank you guys so much for being here. If you are still here for this end of the episode, like, come on, you're my bestie now. We're besties. If you're still here and you're listening to me again ramble, trip over my words, I want to be best friends with you. So, again, direct message me or however you want to message me. And we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. I'm so grateful for everyone who has reached out. And yeah, that's going to be the end of this podcast episode. Guys, please hydrate yourself. Like I said, do your skincare, wear sunscreen. What else can I tell you? Just some girl tips. Exfoliate. Exfoliate is so important. What else should you do? Moisturize your lips. Drink water, of course. Stay hydrated. Eat some more greens. Have some Brussels sprouts. Eat asparagus. Have a great week. I can't wait to see you guys next week where we talk about something else. I'm so excited for the next episode, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your week, okay? And thank you again for being here. Bye, guys. Thanks again for joining.